Good afternoon, traders, and welcome to a great edition, a Friday edition of Awesomecallstrading.com. I am AJ, your host on today's live recap webinar. Well, today I earned a 96% rating on my report card for the accuracy of the calls that were done in the chat room today. As you know, if you know anything about Awesomecallstrading.com, we do come in early, about 10 minutes to 6 or 10 minutes to 9 on New York side, and we immediately start um, putting together a really good quality list of ideas and trades, and not just a list of what we're going to trade today in the room. Actually, entries, exits, and always the reason behind the trade. Whether it's an earnings play, a bio play, a small cap play, uh, if it's a chatter news, if it's an upgrade or downgrade or um, maybe a 10Q or whatever. If it's in play, we're going to find it. And this is what we do. So we present at least 12, minimum of 12 ideas a day. We do 10 on the top 10. And then we have a couple notables that we share with the room, like Radka and Finko today. So, um, but today the list was really well scripted, and it gave everyone the opportunity to make money. And all you had to do is kind of follow the script. And once you could do that, then it kind of it worked itself out. And it was all about when you're trading stocks like this, especially in the morning setups. It's all about scaling in. I can't stress it enough. If you want to do full size, you don't want to be doing that because you're never going to find the absolute top and you're never going to find the absolute bottom. I come pretty darn close after 16 years, and some of my calls are right there on the penny, but nobody's also perfect either. So you always want to scale in, allow yourself some room, um, and and just build on that. Especially if I'm calling a pop at the open and a scale in short and then a flush down. You want to take a little bit at the open or pre-market, add on the pop as soon as it comes, and then you get the flush and you make 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 points, and you cover. I mean, Netflix is a perfect example of this. I'll show you Netflix. We'll start with Netflix. See how Netflix, out of all the big stocks that I was looking at, I liked Netflix today. I felt Netflix was gapping up or right in line, but I felt we're going to get a quick pop to 315, and we were going to sell off immediately down to 310. There was no question we are going to get to 310. I took this call short around, I think it was 314.50. I got an entry on, but I was looking for a 310 clobber, and if it snapped 310, we were going to go to 307, 308. It was just an absolute great setup, but the main thing I was looking at the whole time was to short the stock. And that's because the market started coming down and going down and down. Nasdaq was coming down, down, down. So I figured as long as the weakness doesn't continues to build, we were going to get a nice flush on the stock. So Netflix turned out to be a wonderful trade, even if you took 50 to 100 shares, and I'll show you the trade itself. So here is the yesterday's close, and I'll show you how it kind of was flat today. Okay, so here is it gap down, and then in pre-market it was gapping down because the market started to turn red a little bit. So I figure shorts are going to probably want to cover at the opening, so I predetermined that, and then from there I wanted to. And I was looking at 315. So if you scaled in at 315, gave it a little bit of room, you're going to get a straight flush down to 310. Here's the 310 level, which is right there, and that happened within the first 30, 40 minutes. From there, if it broke 310, it was going to snap all the way to 307, 308, and it did. So it turned out to be about 10 points total, 315 to 305. Really great trade. The next trade that we did today was a stock called Nectar, or NKTR. Now, Nectar had some really, they just blew it on this one. And so Nectar had some concerns. I'll kind of read to you what there actually was written this morning on scans. And it says, Nectar, it was an earnings play, multiple downgrades across the board. But also their biggest concern, I believe, was They had some manufacturing issues that really overshadowed the quarter two results. Um, they also had some issues with the FDA they needed to fix as well. So basically, they were going to get smashed today, and you could see from 30 to 18. After doing the research and reading a ton of analysts and how they were interpreting and how they were looking at it, I became the analyst today on this stock, and I determined the value between 21 and 20 to 21. And the way I told everyone in the chat room to trade it was simply this. On Nectar, it was our number 6 pick today. I would live along at 1850. Do not panic if it flushes to 17. Let it touch, add into it. The stock will rebound. And I really make it very clear to everyone in the chat room. The stock will rebound to 20 to 21. How do I know that? Well, I'm reading analysts. I'm looking at what they're saying. I'm reading, I had William Blair just this morning basically screaming and pounding the table. Buy, 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 buy the weakness. I I I mean, there's really nothing you could do. It was just buy the weakness. And so I mean they even wrote the words, "We are aggressive buyers down here." That told me I'd get the stock to rebound to 2021. You just needed to be patient with it, and everything was going to come and work itself out. So that's exactly what we did. So we ended up taking the stock down with 1850. We added at 1750, had an 18 average. Uh, for the part-time traders, they were able to make their money in the first 45 minutes because they got the first initial at 20. And as you can see, as time is going, we're almost hitting 21. Thank you, Janny. Have a great weekend, boss. And there's the $21. It's coming. See how easy that was? Great trade. The next trade that we did today was a stock called Alarm. As all of you know, um, nice, Raphael. With all the money you make, you should. Congratulations. Um, now, Alarm came out with earnings. And as you all saw this morning, I actually took a short at $56.15. I got filled. This is me up here. That's me up here. 56.15. I got filled here and here. And after reading the report, I felt there's just no justification for the stock to be up. So I called for an immediate short on the stock at $56. I felt the stock would gap fill all the way to 51. I did see 48 coming, I'll be honest, but it didn't hurt. I mean, especially if you're a short seller in our room. But I definitely made this the number 2 pick in the chat room. The stock would go to $51 off 56. And I even said, why is this up? I'm not impressed. This will come down. I will take some short at 56, which you all saw me do. I will add on any pop at the open, and I'm looking to gap flush it down to 51. Perfect trade, perfect entry, perfect execution. It was all told in the story from the earnings report, and we executed it perfectly. Alarm. Next trade we did, great in the room, was a golf company called Eli. ELY. ELY did not impress me on their earnings report. It was gapping up. Serious amount of bag holders on the trade that were holding for the earnings report to come out. And so what I did is I scripted this one pretty good to the traders in the chat room. I said I would go short at $20, look for 20 to 50 at the topping of it, and a stock, and I would lean into it short, and it will gap fill to $18 and under. There's too many bag holders on this. I anticipate a nice gap fill on it today, and then a bottom curl long. This is probably the most scripted, you know, just laid out trade you could ever imagine in your life. I mean, if you are a newbie or a pro, this is the kind of trade setups you really, really, really look for. And this was just, I saw it within 10 seconds of the opening, when I woke up this morning, how to trade it. I'm looking at this gap up here in the 20s, and I'm like, watch the pop to 20. And the most important thing is the accuracy of where the bottom's going to come in. And I said the stock would come down to $18 a share. and it hit $17.90. And then here's the bottom curl and back up to 19. And that's where the stock should settle. Okay. The next stock that we did, a great trade in the room, was called AMRN. Amron. Yeah, Amron was a disappointment. Their news, they got the put off date uh, delayed to November. Investors had they're kind of pissed off at that, and so the stock was going to get punished, as you could see on how it traded the night before. It was up here in the 17, 18s. After reading numerous analyst reports, I determined that the stock would come up to $15.50 and settle up there, around 15 to 15.50. And if you want to look, I really made that clear this morning. It was our uh, number 7 pick. All right, I would buy any weakness under 14. If it dips to 13.50, do not panic. Add to it. The stock will go towards 15.50 today, and then slow fade it once it tops off. Okay, and so if you look at the stock, here is AMRN. Here's your entry down here at $14. Plenty of time to get in. All you had to do was wait for the opening bell. Ding, 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 ding. It took literally 30 minutes, and you reached 15.43 within 7 cents of my target price. How do I know that? 16 years of day trading, 16 years of understanding analysts, how they interpret information. With all the downgrades, I made the determination that's where the stock would set. That was AMRN. The next stock that we did today was a stock called DXC. Now, DXC really disappointed investors today. Their earnings report was not that good. Um, and based on all the downgrades, and a lot of the analysts were basically saying that DXC, there's just uncharted territory. They're not ready yet. The stock's going to get hurt for a while. And since TWOU of last week, which by the way hit $15 a share, thank you very much. I learned a lot from that particular trade, and I learned to be, not as aggressive. And I'm more now. I've really stepped up my game as an analyst, trying to analyze where the stock's going to peak and stop and then fade off. And I really did a good job today on DXC. I did tell the chat room that the stock was going to probably pop either at the open or pre-market from $39 to 42. From 42, it was going to flush down. I saw $35. I didn't want anyone really going long after 42. Just leave it alone. And I made it very clear. It was mostly on the short side, and we were going to play. It was our number 1 pick in the chat room because I wanted people to make money in pre-market at the 39 level to go to 42, and from there, it will be an all-day fader. So if you missed the opening, that's fine. You missed the 2-3 points, that's fine. I was still going to guide you to an all-day fader, so you were going to still make your money on the downside. Really a great setup. Let the traders know I had multiple downgrades, and I really set this up perfect for everyone in the chat room. Ding, 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 ding. The stock pretty much pre-market hit 42 within 12, 15 cents and just slammed it. So if you were a short seller with size, you got 5 points on the downside. It was a wonderful trade, well executed. Found a base at 35, and that's where it's holding. Another stock that we did exceptionally well today was UBNT. Well-read stock, well understood. One thing you have to know about certain stocks in the on Wall Street is there are certain ones that like to get bought up on weakness, and that is one of them, UBNT. And so the way I play UBNT is I always suggest to traders in the room start nibbling a quarter position, an eighth position. The stock will probably most likely gap fill. Not it could have. It is going to gap fill. It's just one of those things that I've known over the years how to trade UBNT. So I basically said watch for the pop at open to 117. When 117 comes, it will top off and then it will fade to 109. In order for it to get to 105 and 104 in a sell-off, it needs to snap 109. If it does not, the stock will go right back up. There's no way. I've calculated based on the chart reading, how I interpret it, how I read everything. You got to break 109 to get the rest of the flush. If you don't, it's going to go back to 117. It was well scripted, well played trade, and I'll show you how the trade evolved. So if you took long 100 shares at 109 within a matter of approximately 12 minutes, 18 minutes of the opening bell, you scored 7 to 8 points, actually 9 points for $900. Then it topped off, as I told you, the 117. It would come in and top off, and then it would be a short. And this one, I wanted 109. Remember, I said it has to snap 109 to get the rest. You can see it stopped at 110 on a dime, and that's where they kept it. You see, I got close though. It hit 109.93, so I did get close, and it ran right back up to 116. Some very, very specific entries and exits and what I was looking for and the reason behind the move. So, I mean, just really, really, just really nice plays. I'm going to give you one last one before I take off today, and it's called Pump. There's a perfect play here on Pump today. And what I did on this particular stock is I looked at it and I basically determined that the stock was a little bit overdone in the morning. And after reading the analyst reports and so forth, I determined that the stock was going to probably pop at open to $13.50 or more. So I really wanted everyone, especially my small account clients that can trade have 13,000, 15,000 or less. I wanted them to go in with 500 shares, 1,000 shares, 400 shares, 300 shares. It's the perfect setup, perfect read on it. Give it room to add. And I want you to see how we wrote pump this morning in the chat room. It was our number 4 pick. Basically, I wanted you to take a starter long at 12, give it room to 11, and the stock will pop at the open at 13.50 and then fade off. The more the pulls, the better the range to the upside. So I'm really assuring you as a trader, as a coach, as a moderator, the stock will go to 13.50. Buy on the weakness, add to your position, and let the stock push. And here we go. There's your entry right here on the 11 spot, 12 spot right there. There's your entry. Add on any weakness, any pullback. Don't get shaken out. Stock will hold. Be patient. And within, I think, uh, the first 40 minutes, you hit 13.50. So you would have scored very, very nice on this trade. All right. And that is today's recap webinar. Today I received a 96% accuracy from all the traders in the great chat room, and I appreciate that. I work hard. As you know, I spend 2 hours to 2.5 hours before the market even opens. It's important I do the research, do the homework, and help traders understand why a stock's going to move a certain way, not just a bunch of lines or in between lines or, could go here. I never use the word could. I don't say maybe. The day I start using that is the day I should shut down the chat room. My words are this will, this will, this will. And being I'm over 90% accurate out of 12 calls, at least 10 or 11 are going to work. So, uh, so that's what we do. All right. Good list today. I traded, just a bunch of stuff. I always want my traders to be diversified, be able to trade everything. So that way there's always something, there's always an opportunity. But the most important thing that I really stress to each trader is I really educate, teach, and show them step by step how to play each of these ideas. And then we just keep learning. I also do these recaps for you that are not in the room yet, so you can see that all the amount of time and education I put in to these ideas and the research for you to execute so you can make money regardless of the size of your account. Okay? So I hope you enjoy your weekend, and I will be tweeting over the weekend as well. I'll send you the webinar tonight on Twitter, and I'll be back at it Monday morning doing this all over again with 12 clicks or more. Okay? Take care. Bye-bye.